All right. Welcome back to the Into One for Game Sword and Shield Trial Series. We are featuring Meg and Evan. Evan is playing Beheeyem, and Meg is going to be playing an updated ReshiZek list. We're going to be following the idea that turn one supporters for the first player are not an option anymore. If that changes, well, that changes a lot of things, but there's no reason to think we won't see that rule.
So first year we have Evan going first. Obviously going to take advantage of hopefully being able to set up without a supporter. But considering the amount of basics he plays, it shouldn't be too difficult.
Do you want to reshuffle it? It doesn't.
And because some of these cards are new and our players aren't always familiar with what they're doing, we're allowing 60 minutes for this best of 3 as opposed to 50. That way they can take the time to share what the cards do if there's a problem. Alright, so Evan started LGM, which is good for him, along with the Ditto, giving him the option to go into something like Pidgeotto and BEM next turn, with Meg starting the Coco Prism Star, which isn't a terrible start for the deck. She'd probably rather see it on the bench, especially if she has to burn a Welder to get, a draw going.
The Cherish Ball is definitely going to bail her out right here. Let's see, analyze prizes. And start setting up strategy right now. Of course, with ReshiZek, much rather, like you said, be weldering onto it and be swinging turn 2. However, the 4 energy cost, she could still do it on this next turn.
And this is really like an example of a deck where the going, or a turn, I won't say a deck, but a turn where being able to play supporters first may have justified the going second even more. I mean, it was Evan's choice for winning the coin flip, but her hand might not have been able to be bailed out as easily without being able to play that Welder.
But definitely with Evan's strategy, obviously you can't start the Pokédoll, but being a stage 1 deck and using triples, he has no problem going first as long as he doesn't get donked on the second turn. It's definitely ideal for him to go first.
So Meg, opts to Cherish Ball for the Breaks in Charizard tag team here. Gets 1 energy on it. With a Welder with 2 energy next turn, she'd be able to attack with it off of Welder, but we'll kind of see what she goes with. She opts to, retreat Coco and keep it out of the line of fire, since that'll, help empowering up the ReshiZeks at some point.
And as we look over Meg's list right now, too, just want to point out for the viewers that there is a backwards card that might be hard to read, too. That is the new Fishing Rod card that's coming out in the Sword and Shield base that allows you to retrieve up to 2 Pokemon as well as 2 basic energy and shuffle them back into your deck.
So Evan gets his first BM down.
Gets down the stadium to double up on that sleep ability. He does play Mari too, so looking to create a lot of hate and discontent for his opponent.
So Evan's probably looking here for the triple. He's got the Chinchino down. That's basically Zorik's trade ability with a slightly weaker attack. We probably won't see that really coming into play. But, it will help him establish his hand a bit more. Evan's probably looking here to get a second LGM down also, so that he doesn't get locked into not having BM on the next turn. He's got some good targets to hide behind: the Mysterious Noise and the Clefairy, the Lily's Pokédolls.
We got a quick ball. Looks like discarding away Guzma and Hala. Like you said, probably getting out another Elgin so he can set up if he has the energy to attack. Of course, from the first turn he's able to. He's going to want to set that item lock, stop any fire deck or deck that relies on a fire engine from using crystals or flints, make them raw welder into everything.
As we look at Meg's hand, she's kind of dependent on not getting item lock to be able to get that welder off next turn with the fire crystal and welder in hand. Otherwise, she doesn't really have a live supporter right now, and she's going to be kind of top decking here.
So trading away the Beheeyem. What's the ability now? What are we going to be spamming on our opponents for the next, say, 2 years?
Let's see.
On Chino.
Look at the translation of that attack's name.
I love it.
Or ability's name.
Instinct kicks in where we just say trade.
It's called management right now.
Management. That doesn't sound kid-friendly enough.
He's got management, land discard card, draw 2 cards. He gets, the second Chinchino down.
So it's definitely a break there for Meg. Passing without setting in the item lock gives her a way to hopefully dig. But looking at her hand right now, she's...
it's pretty dead. If she had the access to a second fire energy, she could get the Breakson and Charizard's attack off. But
she has access to 1 right now in her hand through the fire crystal, which never feels good. But you need to start drawing cards.
Oh, you hate to see it happen. Get those 2 fire energies off your welder.
But at the same time, the first time she swings with it, though, she's going to be able to search your deck for any 3 cards and put them directly into her hand, though. So, not the easiest way to absolutely the best way to get around item lock. However, it's still something.
Yeah, but Meg's now blown 2 welders. If Evan starts the item lock next turn, she can go for the Cynthia and Caitlin to get them back, but not even Pal Pad's really an option. I can't remember if she's running that or not.
No, she's not running Pal Pad, so even if she was, it wouldn't make a difference. I do like her opting to attach to the active, though. You just need to start swinging and taking prizes, see if something will help you out. Put the pressure on Evan to keep recycling and utilizing his resources. And there he does get the triple, so item lock will begin. But at the same time, too, if you can't get down another Elgin, how confident are you just throwing up a Pokédoll and hoping on your next turn that you can start setting up?
Now, the Goomy here is nice because if Meg can't hit a welder and he goes into Mysterious Noise, throws the Goomy up, Meg would have to welder 2 more fire energies, and that's probably not the route she's really looking forward to taking right now.
Exactly. Utilize that'd be her 3rd welder. We already said she really doesn't have any way to get those back, and it's only for 1 attacker. That puts a lot of pressure, especially if Evan starts maintaining that item lock for her to be able to dig and get to possibly that 4th welder if it's not even prized.
Yeah, and looking over her list, she's not even playing the Cynthia Caitlin that I mentioned earlier. So once these 4 welders are gone, she's just sitting high and dry. I don't really know what her process to get through this disruption is going to be, especially if the Goomy comes up and Meg is playing the 9 Temptations, 9 Tails, but that hasn't got onto the field yet to be able to duck out of the Goomy and get something going. Evan did get down this, other Elgium that we were talking about. He doesn't have a way to move the Goomy on board yet, but that's not necessarily a problem. So, here Meg gets hit for 90. He ducks back into the deck, item locks, and he's probably going to promote that Goomy just to try to keep Meg slowed down a bit more.
See, with Meg's hand being as dead as it is right now, like I said, already down 2 welders, so having a third one's going to be really difficult. On top of that, I think now is still the time where you put up the Pokey Doll, because with a single attachment, it allows Meg to then swing and search her deck at least. However, the sticky membrane does delay things, so I'm not sure which one's better, is giving Meg the prize or just delaying another turn. I guess as long as he has a way to retreat that Goomy out. Because if he can't get the Goomy out, then he allows Meg to have access to things like Fire Crystal and such too.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I really like Meg benching the ReshiZek tag team there. She's not really going to get any mileage out of it because, every discard is going to get 1 knockout. And, like we already said, she's already on the back foot. She's going to be able to get the extra energy up there with the Cocoa Prism Star to get half the attack cost up there. But then she's going to have to get an energy for this turn and be able to constantly attach an energy every turn that she wants to knock something out. Her list isn't playing any Ends Resolve, which, it's
probably
not
smarter.
The worst, but I've talked with Meg before that if you're playing ReshiZek, having 1 Ends Resolve just to be able to trigger the Fabled Flare Bolts would be nice. Or no, I can't remember what the GX attack's name is. Crossbreak. And that'd be great in this situation, especially if the Clefairy Doll comes up and she can slap the 2 Minchinos down, so Evan doesn't have that option to, draw through his deck the turn after she does that. But
so I do like the fact that she's able to get the full usage here out of Cocoa Prism. However, I just feel like you said, backing out, manually discarding, going into Jirachi, I don't know what she was really hoping for, trying to hit another welder when your deck is that large. And then again, double coin flip. Actually hit both heads, so that is definitely a plus. But now you got to worry about getting the Jirachi out and then being able to swing on the next turn. But now Evan's just going to be solely focused on getting that Goomy out, taking a knockout then on the Jirachi. At least with the Braixen Zard GX attack, she will be able to accelerate any I believe it's any 5. Yes, any 5 basic energies and attach them any way she wants from her discard. So almost like another welder. However, it's not the way you want to be attacking when you're eating 90 damage every turn.
Yeah, I mean, that mysterious noise is going to put Breaks and Charizard on a 3-turn clock there.
It's a 3 clean shot.
And it's already lost 1 turn on its clock. So, I mean, it might not even be as bad if, the Brazard was clean. She got the energy accelerated, took the 90, took a prize, took the 90, took another prize. Then she at least gets 2 for 3. But, with the Lily's Polka Dolls, it's not even guaranteed to be a prize trade. Unless you can get that 9 Temptations down. And I think that's really kind of the route that Meg kind of needs to focus on here, is getting 9 Temptations to be able to pull up some things that Evan can't really spend the energy on, or can't, play the U-turn board down on. But, cards aren't really looking in her favor for that right now.
Also, with everything that's low HP here, I wouldn't mind seeing the inclusion of the traditional ReshiZek just for the outrage attack. As soon as it takes 90, it's 2 energy attack. You can start spamming.
Thinking of the Reshiram Charizard?
Yes.
Yeah. I think even in this game, she may have been wise to power up. She's playing the Tapu Koko V that can swing for 3 energy for 200, has free retreat, can attack next turn.
And it can set up too with 2. I think it's do 20 and draw 2 cards.
Yep. But yeah, I think the route of having the ReshiZeks on the field just isn't the way that Meg needs to be going right now. It's a strong attacker, but we haven't seen it have many results outside of being an inclusion in Nuzzle decks towards the end of the Cosmic Eclipse block.
That's great now. Actually hitting the Fiery Flint right now. Getting the Vulpix down so she can start working around the dolls. She promoted the ReshiZek Zekrom, so she only needs a single attachment to start swinging.
Nope, Gumi's up. She's going to need 3
Gumi
energy.
is still up. She will still need it.
Pass.
Gumi was definitely putting in work. I believe that is that a U-turn board that's on the
That is a
Gumi?
U-turn board on Gumi, so he's going to be able to just, flip out of there. I think he's going to need to, again, hunt down an LGM to put down on the field.
I really wish Meg would have used that Fiery Flint while she was not under the item lock. That way, get the energy in your hand. That's 4 less cards that you don't want to draw into.
How many cards in there? 6.
Yeah, I'm sure Evan's kind of eyeing a reset stamp play at some point. No, he's not. He doesn't play reset stamp, but Meg hasn't done a lot of anything with any of the cards in her hand, so he doesn't really even have a need to try to disrupt anything.
9.
So again, going back into the item lock. I almost feel like with the 2 energy that was on the Charizard Brixican, it might not have been a bad idea then at that point to use the GX attack, load up energy all on the bench, as well as the 3rd one on the active.
Yeah, I think if I was Meg here, I would see kind of the writing on the wall of moving on to like a new game, trying to reset the game plan. But, it's trying to test out a new deck, trying to see how things go.
Yep.
No pressure outside of the fact that, we have a self-imposed time limit on the match. Nothing on the line. So there's really not a reason to scoop other than, trying to figure out what she could do differently, try to read some more cards in Evan's deck. Who knows? Maybe she just gets a turn where the 9 Temptations comes into play. She's able to strand a Minccino up for a turn to break the item lock. But that's asking for a lot. And, looking at her hand, Evan's going to have to miss the item lock before that plan could even begin to come to fruition. And, with as thin as his deck is getting, having the 2 managements in play, it just doesn't seem likely.
Yeah. Because she's, like we said, she's already down the 2 welders. She's down her only crystal. She does play 13 fire. However, it's going to come to a point, especially when she's charging up the Reshiram and Zekrom GX, that those energies are going to get discarded as well. So from there, she would have to utilize Braixen, Charizard's GX attack just to get the energy back at play, or hopefully get into her Victini Prism Star.
Yeah, I think what Meg needs to work on doing is hoping she can get into an energy right now, not use it for the heat factory necessarily, and just toss down the Reshiram Zekrom and clearing off the Gumi. So when she does get like a welder, it can go on to the Braixen and Charizard.
Because right now that Gumi is putting in a ton of work.
And then I'm going to mysterious ones. Yeah.
So Meg will be able to finally get the knockout on the Gumi. However, with the 180 damage sitting on the active, is in a prime position to be giving up 3 prizes to Evan.
He's going to give up 3 prizes and 4 energy, 3 for the attack and 1 off of the bench Braixen Charizard. It's the Fallout Boy syndrome of she's going down swinging.
Exactly.
It will play.
U-turn board goes back in the hand. So do you promote with Evan's hand right now? I don't think you promote the Elgin. I think you just promote one of the Minchinos, attach the U-turn board. Because if you put up the fairy, if you put up the doll, you can't retreat it. He does have the second one, so that's nice.
I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with sending up the doll. It's not going to give up a prize. If he does get into the pieces he needs, he just puts it on the bottom of the deck and gets the U-turn board back anyway. You know. Whereas if he throws the U-turn board on the Cinchino, he's giving up that U-turn board is committed somewhere.
Mm-hmm. You pull up Evan's list. How many of those does he have?
Of the U-turn boards, he has 2.
2 of the U-turn boards.
He's right over here.
Okay. Yeah, but I think, like you said, you're at a point now, especially now there's a 2 prize Pokemon on the board.
Yep, we've got Cramorant up there. There's Vulpix that's going to offer up a prize. Evan's going to take 3 prizes off the ReshiZek. If Meg tries to hide behind the Brazard, she doesn't run any healing, so she can't even really try to just hide on anything.
And the only real blessing, although like you said, you're just on a turn clock that you do not want to be against. Evan refusing to play the Great Catcher.
Okay,
Yeah.
it puts itself on the bottom of the deck.
Evan just explained that Pokédoll can't retreat, but he will go down into the bottom of the deck if it's in the active.
And then you turn board bounce.
Yeah.
And I mean, Meg throws down the Cramorant, which, you know, it's a cute card, but it's kind of a one-trick pony at this point. It gets to discard all its energy to snipe 160 on the bench, or to one of the Pokemon. So yeah, Meg, once her stadium gets bumped, see that she had 2 Welder's Prize. That definitely was not helping there.
Utilizing the first 2 welders for an energy apiece, and then your other 2 prize. And Meg never had a chance, unfortunately, in that one. But she will have the option to go first if she wants to. However, she will not be able to play one of those welders going first.
So Meg actually opts to go second here.
It's weird hearing people say it now, but you never know. I mean, I don't completely hate it. However, I mean, I think the biggest benefit that Meg has going first is she's more than likely either going to start a Jirachi or an attacker. So you get that first attachment on there. And then you're just a welder turn 2 away from swinging before Evan even gets the chance to evolve.
Yeah, I think what Meg kind of needs to focus on in this game is getting cross break. Well, no, we already said she can't really set up cross break because she doesn't play that ends to get the double knockout. I mean, it'll clear something off the bench, which, you know, in that last game where Evan's kind of cycling 2 Elgiums, taking the second Elgium off the field is going to give Meg that option of going on to it.
And I wasn't expecting you to have another. I forgot. Pokédoll put this up at the bottom of the deck. I'm like an idiot. Should have just let.
So I
No.
think going into this game, Evan's strategy hit exactly on. Like I said, he plays the 2 Mareep with the Slumbering Forest, which, you know, seems like a great disruption tool. Maybe not needed for every matchup, but when you're going against a deck that requires 4 energies essentially to attack, it's a great option just to go with the Goomy, force that extra energy. Seemed to work well the first game. However, there's a lot of moving parts needed to get Evan's deck rolling. He got it spot on the first game. Let's see how it goes in the second game.
And I think what also kind of can work in Meg's favor is, I don't know if she noticed that Evan never played Great Catcher. He's not actually playing that in his list, you know, kind of with the advent of Pokemon V. It becomes a slightly less good card. It's still going to be good because, I mean, Dedenes are still going to be around. Mew and Mewtwo doesn't look like it's, really got a reason to go anywhere. One of the big contenders in the format being like Zacian and ADP, you're still able to grab things like that. Zacian and Lucario Melmetal took off in Japan. So, you've got the Melmetals, Pikarom took off in Japan, and they have gone to like focus on that Coco V, but they're still playing Dedenes, they're still playing Raichu, they're still playing Pikachu Zekrom. But so you still have a lot of open targets in those kind of situations.
So Evan's starting off with a nice full board here, seeing everything that essentially he'd want to start with. Now the big question is what does he have going forward here? Meg's hand right now, attach pass, never feels good, but at the same time, outside of the item lock, she's really not under any pressure until it starts.
And I mean, it's a risk Meg's chosen to take playing just 4 welders. I think, like, with some of the space that she has in her deck, I almost would have liked to see maybe a couple tag calls and some of those tag supporters, like even just some Cynthia and Caitlyn to recycle the welders would be big.
Or with the addition of Quick Ball now, the Mind Report Mewtwo comes to mind, being able to take a welder and just put it on the top of your deck so you can draw into it on your next turn. Palpad itself. But already looking here at Evan's setup in his second turn, we're going to get item lock going right away.
Yep, I mean, he's got the 2 Elgiums. He's also got, like, the Ditto that he can hold. If he's draws into the second Elgium after the first one does its mysterious noise, he can use that Ditto to become an Elgium, and that Ditto can come back later to become, another Minccino if he needs it. If he does get the second Elgium, it can just become a Minccino. There's just a lot of options here, and all of them are good.
I like putting up the Pokédoll here. There's no need to force the Goomy when your opponent attach passes.
Well, and I think part of it too is Evan plays 1 escape board, and he committed 1 to the Minccino right away. So that Minccino would have to get knocked out, or he'd have to draw into the second, not escape board, but U-turn board to move the Goomy. And if he doesn't do that, he's going to break his item lock, which is his big stay point here.
Ooh, Evan just passing, so clearly isn't able to maintain the item lock, giving Meg access to her items. I'd really like to see her try to burn as much as she can, sensibly, of course. She will be able to knock out this Pokédoll, but does that really do anything? I mean, I would like to see her knock it out and then force Evan to have an option on the next turn, especially when he just passed.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you want to commit the energy to it. I think one play that Meg could go for, and I've kind of mentioned this a couple times, I'm going to mention it right this time, is that she could Fable Flare Bolts just to knock the Elgium out, and then say, okay, so now what are you going to do? You don't have to search for a second Elgium on top of Ditto, and you have to give up the Pokédoll spot by sending it to the bottom of the deck to get the Ditto up, or, in that situation, which, if he does get the triple, he does get the Beheeyem, he does send the Pokédoll back, it'll shuffle somewhere into the deck. So, it's not even a safe route really per se. I'd almost rather see like the Fabled Flare Bolt go into like the Ditto to take off the option of flexibility. Taking out the Minccino's not the route. Meg kind of wants to keep that U-turn board on the field in this game, because if she knocks it out, he can start throwing up the Goomy with the escape board, and that's going to feel less good.
So Meg right now, although questionable in the first game, I really like what she's doing here. Got the quick ball off the Jirachi, however, she quick balled away her fishing rod when she had a fire energy in hand. I'd much rather see her quick ball away the fire energy, use the rod, and I believe she's probably trying to find one of her 2 Dedenes. You can see it there at the bottom of her deck. So if she was going to discard the hand entirely, I'd much rather see her throw away a fire energy than use the rod to shuffle that energy back into the deck.
Well, alternatively, she was kind of eyeing it up. I don't hate the idea of trying to hit into that Vulpix that she never played last game. So the Goomy and the Clefairy doll become like less of a issue.
Oh, absolutely. She definitely nine Temptations, Nine Tails in this is huge. Anytime you want to avoid killing unnecessary targets or killing the targets that Evan wants you to just swing into is going to be huge. Looking at her hand here, energy switch. She's not going to be able to retreat it without a actual switch card. One of her 4 switches. So I'm not. She also has a single escape board. I like the option here that she's setting up for the possible 170 snipe, as well as playing around the Goomy already.
Yeah, I mean, the Goomy gave her so much trouble last game that she may kind of be eyeballing in on sniping the Goomy as opposed to anything else, just so she can attack more freely and pick up some momentum, which may be what she, needs to do. But, those Clefairy dolls, man.
Exactly. That's why you really hope she can get into a quick ball, get into the Vulpix, and start setting up that 9 Temptations, 9 Tails.
Looking at her hand, I think I would like to see her throw down that other Jirachi so that, if Evan is able to Mysterious Noise the active Jirachi, she can dig for something else, coming back into her turn.
Exactly. Especially when you're holding on to the 2 fire energies, having a welder right now is just going to be huge. So there you go. Item lock is back in. Wow, that's a top deck right there. Meg finally catching a break, especially compared to the first game.
Yeah, I think top decking that welder, if she goes ahead and throws all the fire on the Reshiram Zekrom and takes the snipe on the Ditto, it gives her that extra turn she may need to, make some ground here.
Yep. Because the nice thing is like you said, if she can weld her onto the active, she'll then meet the Rigumi requirement. With considering the GX attack would only require the 4. Take out the Ditto, and then you're guaranteed your next turn you're not facing item lock.
But, I guess she just wants to go for Fabled Flare Bolts on the Goomy and hope that Evans was about 3-card hand, doesn't have all the pieces he needs.
Yeah, Evan right now is not in the best spot right now. He at least has the he can at least discard his hand, draw 7 on his next turn here. But like you said, though, you're losing a lot of pieces right now. So he's got free retreat here. He's got a little way to dig. Okay. Stinks not being able to use that quick ball, but you got to be able to get a usable hand.
And see, this is kind of what we're talking about is he gets the second Elgium down, and so now Meg, is most likely going to eat, another turn of item lock or having to just take a knockout on a Clefairy doll.
Looking at Evan's hand, I think she caught a break without a Beheeyem in his hand right now. I really feel like if he would have had it, he would have thrown it down already too if we were just missing it. So
I think he still has his management live, so he may have
that's true.
an out to it.
You can still discard 1, take 2.
But that deck isn't really thin enough to where he knows he's going to be guaranteed anything. And both of them, looking at his hand, looks like he has the escape board, the forest. I can't really see what else he had, but he'd have to draw 2 2 pieces off that one search, and that's, not the place you really want to be in.
Yeah, Meg doesn't have much playable going forward here, but she at least has the energy to continue taking Fable Flarebolt's knockouts. But as long as Evan can kind of wall behind those Pokédolls right now, because he does have the U-turn board on the active, not giving Meg a prize on this turn at all. But Evan still needs to really work on establishing a board state. It looked really positive on the second turn. However, like you said, you really want that deck to be thin, so all you're digging in is to Beheeyem pieces and maintaining that item lock.
Yeah, I mean, Evan, opts to play for Professor's Research and for Cynthia, but we haven't really seen him play like a whole lot of draw support in this game. And I think that's kind of what's slowing him down. I mean, if he was able to stream a couple turns of, research or small card Cynthia's, I think he'd be in a lot better place than he is right now. But I think like Meg's play on the next turn really needs to be doing the cross break on that Ditto over there, forcing him again to have the second Elgium to drop down.
I almost feel like with the way Evan, like you said, kind of wants to dig through that deck, that almost a Zeb Strike Alliance instead of using the Minccino to actually really burn through there. Having discard your hand draw 7, and granted it's not coming out in Sword and Shield, but Guzma and Hala is so good for getting those 4 triples that he plays, and that's the only energy he plays. But it really does come down to you just kind of got to burn through that deck and just get to the only pieces that you need left.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it in any part of these games, and maybe he updated his list since we saw it, but he has like a 2/2 Pidgeotto line in here, which
I think that's what, and for the list's sake, he put in. Oh no, he does have the Minccino there.
Yeah, he has Minccino, Chinchino, and Pidgeotto, and I think those Pidgeottos could easily become Zeb Strika, because like just pitching your hand to, get rid of excess pieces is going to feel good, especially when you're trying to make the deck thin. Now that he's got the second Elgium down, that cross break on the Ditto becomes a whole lot less relevant outside of the fact that it's one less Minccino that Evan can get up. It becomes another turn where Evan would have to get the double Elgiums. I don't know. I think like almost what may have made the most sense in this matchup was if she can't concentrate on the 9 Temptations, getting that Cramorant down and trying to spam Welder attach back to back to do 160 snipes on things, and then try to close out the last 2 prizes.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Some other way.
Being able to pick your targets against any deck that's playing dolls or stifles your ability to play the game, that's huge. You never want these types of decks to force you to play certain things. So there, she's going to go ahead and take out Evan's draw support, seeing he has a small hand, hoping it kind of causes him to be dead. But it does appear he has another, so he'll still be able to look at 2 more cards here if he doesn't have another draw supporter, that is.
Yeah, and like I said, I think the only thing I dislike about that play is that he gets his U-turn board back. I think I almost would have rather tried to pressure an Elgium or the Chinchino.
Does targeting the Elgium really help though when you're looking at a Ditto and 2 of them on the bench? Because at some point Evan's gonna
he can just mysterious noise the Ditto back at some point and let it become Chinchino.
Yeah, I guess if you are going to target any of those 3, then you definitely do go for the Ditto. But
I think anything without the U-turn board was the right target.
Yeah. It's going to give Evan the option of another free retreater.
Mm-hmm. I mean, especially like he can go back into that Goomy, but Meg, now at least meets the requirement for Fabled Flarebolts even around Goomy. I think Evan, until he can knock out the active, is going to have to rely on the Pokédoll just to not give up prizes every turn.
So I think Meg has played one welder so far, so she still has access to the rest of her welders. As you saw her last turn, setting up the Crawmorant on her bench. Evan, I believe, has Evolution Incense in his hand, so he might be able to get back in the item lock. He keeps it close to him, so it's hard to see. So you're going to throw away the Lily's Pokédoll, draw 2. So correct me, if Lily's Pokédoll gets shuffled back into the deck, though, the U-turn board will go in with it.
No, because it says to discard all cards attached
you're right,
to it.
so it will go back to the hand.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how much you play like the VGC, but Cramorant has some of the best animations. It uses 2 attacks called like dive, and I can't remember what combos with it, but he dives down, and that's 1 attack, and then he comes up with a Pokemon in his mouth, and then he spits it at the opposing Pokemon. Yeah, and depending on what he gets, like I've seen him get Airoscuda, I've seen him get Pikachu, and watching him just like spit a Pikachu at the defending Pokemon is just hilarious. I think like even the Pikachu like has a chance to paralyze because it's an electric type.
That's awesome. So Evan's getting his Goomies back, knows how important it is in this matchup, but the amount of energy that Meg has on board right now, I don't know how much is really going to stifle her.
Well, I think like once the active ReshiZek goes down, like everything else is kind of spread so thin that it is good.
Yeah, I agree. It is definitely good, but we're still 2 hits in needed to take out Meg's active right now. She's at 4 prizes, so if Evan doesn't swing this turn, you should kind of see the writing on the wall, knowing that Meg is going to be taking another 2 prizes, possibly, maybe only 1 with that Pokédoll on her way. It's like you were saying too. I like how Crawmorant's main attack there for 3 energy is known as Spit Shoot.
Yeah. I always like games where we can see something from the new sets being shown off. I mean, Chinchino's cute, but it's not like a Gen 8 Pokemon, so I only care but so much. I kind of like just seeing Cramorant pop up and be like, I'm here to annoy you with some spit shooting.
Well, Evan already made it a point too that playing the Chinchino, that this is the cutest deck.
I don't know. I think Morpeko will give Chinchinos a run for the money in terms of what's the cutest.
Except for when he's hangry.
I think he's 10 times cuter when he's hangry.
So, looks like Evan has the triple, so he's going to be able to put in the item lock. Not sure what he's thinking over.
I think he has to figure out what does he hide behind, because he doesn't have. There it goes. He now has.
If he's going to give a prize up, he's going to make her attached to something useless.
Yep.
Because that means that's 1 less energy that's going to be attached to Crawmorant. Actually, she does have the Fable Flare Bolt.
Yeah, I think like Fabled Flare Bolting, discarding off the Breaks and Charizard, is going to give the most bang for the buck there.
I'm seeing that Meg is an item lock too. She can't play her Fire Crystal. Really like her, unless there's some ungodly hand right now where she's absolutely fearing Reset Stamp, but with her board state, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I really would like to see her hold on to her energies.
Well, I think if she's going to attach energy, she just needed to attach to Cramorant.
Yeah, and then just throw away 1 that was already on the Breaks and Zard. Breaks and Zard in this here should only be used for its GX attack. However, Mega's already used her GX attack, so I think exactly how you said. You just set up the Crawmorant for a snipe to hopefully close out this game, especially if Evan whiffs here. But nope. Setting up right now. We'll see what he starts digging through his deck, see if he has that triple. Oh, and it's a clean Cynthia right there.
Now, like, if Meg has drawn into or draws into a welder and has the energy to make Cramorant live, okay. It doesn't hurt as bad. And Evan also has to be, like, a little mindful if he can't get the LGM or triple. It's going to be a bad place, too. Hiding behind the Polka Doll definitely doesn't feel bad unless, like we said, Meg is able to get the Cramorant to do something. But, like, the Cramorant has to 2 turns back to back get off Spit Shoot, and that's going to require Welder, 2 fire, attach, and another Welder and 2 fires.
And granted, she knocked out Evan's first Goomy, but he did shuffle 2 Goomies back in the deck. So if there is a clean Cramorant and he throws up a Goomy, it is not swinging that turn. Unless she gets a full combo off with Welder, Attach, and Cocoa Prism Star.
And there it is. Goomy's like one of my all-time favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, you tormented our local league a lot with that.
Yeah.
So there we go. Evan taking the prize lead right now. Seems to have established a board state. However, Meg is not completely out of it yet. Although, I don't know how I feel about sending up the Cramorant right now. I don't know what the rest of Meg's hand is. She does have the Switch. So,
which don't matter.
But at the same time, you could at least put up the Jirachi, get a Stellar Wish off, see what you're dealing with right now. And being that Evan is also going down to 2 prizes, like I said, we already established there's no great catcher, so Meg can kind of control this. But I'd hate to see an unnecessary manual retreat.
Well, maybe what Meg's doing is throwing up the Cramorant and using that first tech Beak Blast that lets her get 2 cards off the deck, put it into hand, which is what it looks like she's doing, and that'll give her access to the welders that she's been looking for. It can give her the Cocoa Prism.
And I also noticed I was just talking out of the backside of my rear end when I forgot she's under item lock, so she can't switch. So I'm glad Meg is playing smarter at this right now than I would have.
There's a reason we're commentating this match.
There is. There really is. So Meg has her manual attachment there. I believe that's what she used on the Cramorant.
Yep, she did a manual attach. I mean, she's eyeing up the Crystal, the Welder, and the Cocoa Prism, and I think, like, the Crystal is a dangerous grab. Like, if Evan can't move the Goomy, she's going to do really good getting the Crystal, because that'll give the Crystal and the Welder will give her Cramorant, Spit Shoot. But if Evan can move the Goomy, having the
he plays the 2 U-turn board. There's one already on the Lily's Pokédoll, so there's only 1 left. Evan's deck looks like it's getting thin enough to where he might be able to work through it.
Okay.
Meg realizing that, search for any 2 cards means she doesn't have to reveal them.
It's
But
pretty honest. If I had that dang fine belt, then I could 2-shot this.
yeah, I think some of these V Pokemon, like having 200 HPs on basics is, just a wonderful life to be in.
Yeah. I feel like it is a big missed opportunity though when you play something disruptive such as item lock that you're not playing reset stamp. So getting into this later in the game where these fire decks rely on say a quick ball or fire crystal, or they want to get out there, but you want to also narrow down the amount of cards they have. Meg has a huge hand right now. She just searched for any 2 cards that she wanted.
And I think like one thing that works in her favor is she's holding on to that giant hearth, so she can drop the Welder, and get Cramorant's attack off this turn. She's not in danger of being 2-shot because Evan's not playing the Fine Band. He's not playing a Shrine. And that Cramorant has 200 hit points, so Evan's going to have to 3-shot it.
Yeah, in a prize race right now, it would look like Meg would actually win this because Evan's board is locked right now. He mysterious messages, or not right now, because she's going to be able to bench Snipe.
Well, I mean, he's getting his U-turn board back.
I understand that, but what I'm looking at right now is just looking turns ahead. Is he's gonna if he doesn't have another Elgin to put down,
Yeah, knowing Evan, like, I'm not surprised he
Yeah.
had the quick ball. Like,
that's what I was hoping for too.
Order
Because
about
as soon as that,
license.
as soon as that
Gotta make
gets,
sure I do
as soon as that gets put back in, as soon as Meg can clear off any Elgin off the board and have a free turn without item lock, yeah, Evan has to swing 3 straight turns to actually win this game.
you don't have to do more. Yeah, no, he's down to 2 prizes. I was looking at the wrong.
Yeah,
Board there.
it's like so the Cormorant stays up.
And this is kind of going back to what I said about Meg not using any of those like tag supporters. Like, I feel like Malu and Lana fits into this deck really well just because of the retreat cost on like the Breaks and Charizard and the ReshiZeks. And this would be a time where like she could just heal Cramorant and go as an option to make the game go.
And there's so many basics that she needs on the board too right now. I think there is room with the Vulpix, Ninetales, the 4 cards total right there, to where her quick ball has always had to go to something else.
Yeah.
She never absolutely felt safe playing it for a Vulpix and just setting up behind something.
Well, I don't know. I feel like the Jirachis in this have almost been a waste with, their main
Especially when they play one
point
escape
being
board.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand playing the 4 switch. It's nice. But
So, like, Meg replaced the stadium with the Hearth, discarding the Heat Factory, having a Fire Energy in hand. I almost think I'd like to have seen her get the Heat Factory off from it.
she also, because she has plenty of access to welders, because this is only her second welder in the game. Then, okay, so we're going with Breaks and Zard. Especially with that Goomy in the active.
Well, she can still attach for turn, which will give it the 5 energy it needs. Oh, Meg just played a quick ball when she's under item lock.
Yeah.
Oh,
So shuffle that back in, put them back in your hand. This is why, on commentary, we keep an established judge as well. Zach really is the total package.
And I guess kind of like the rationale maybe here with Brazard is that Cramorant isn't just discard 30 energy to snipe, it's discard all the energy, so as long as the Gumi's on the field, it can't keep charging
Oh
up.
my gosh, that's what I'm saying. Doing 4 for every, like I said, she wouldn't be able to do that in one turn anyway without Cocoa Prism.
Right.
See, with Evan only, it's nice having the free retreater, but I really hope it gets energy switched off of that Cocoa V, and
I don't know if
use-
Meg can power up the Cocoa V and like alternate between it as an attacker.
But what's the point of having another attacker for the active when she already has the Breaks and Zard right now? That's going to let her search for 3 cards, and she can attack with it next turn, unlike Coco.
Well, I'm thinking after the second mysterious noise, powering up the Coco so that she can hide behind, like go into the Coco to swing, especially if like Evan were to get like a Pokédoll and offset the prizes Meg's getting, because Meg's now like, if that Brazard stays active, she's on a 3-turn clock.
Yep.
So working on like another attacker isn't the worst thing in the world here. So Meg gets off that Bright Flame, gets, 3 cards for her hand. And it's times like these that Evan may think, one reset stamp might not be the end of the world. I mean,
I just feel like when your goal is to disrupt your opponent and the things that can really disrupt the deck, such as item lock, reset stamp is another one of those cards that you can instantly disrupt your opponent big time. Like, granted, right now, Meg has everything that she needs, but earlier on with the Cramorant, getting those 2 cards, this helps set Meg up to this board state. Because remember, she did get the welder and such all off of it. Like, she might not have been in the spot. She would have been put down to 3 cards and also an item lock.
Yep. And I think, too, like, you have to assume that one of the cards that she got off Bright Flame was that Vulpix that we've been talking about. And that, you know, if, especially as the Polka Dolls are going to come into play, is going to be important at any given point just to get around that.
He's going to discard his hand, draw 7 here. There is a triple down.
That's 2 triples down because he tossed 1 off of, I can't tell if it's one of the managements or... Thrifty. I mean, as that deck gets smaller and smaller, you know, it'll work out for him.
Yeah, he's going to hit him. He really only needs 1. See, Slumbering Forest come down, get rid of Meg's ability to get energies straight out of the deck. Treasure away, get his BEM.
Well, I mean, that depends on if he's got, you know, access to the triple in hand, because if he doesn't have the triple, he may just need the Elgium to
and that looks like what
establish.
He's doing right now.
Got plenty of chance to hit it.
I do also believe he has a BEM in hand. Oh no, there's another Elgium.
Trade.
What? You already did.
He did
Yeah,
1.
he did 1.
Ooh, hate to see it happen. This may be like that runaway turn Meg needs just to establish.
Yeah.
All right, so Evan just concedes, knowing that the writing's right there on the wall. You know, whiffing that item lock turn gave Meg like a time to play.
And remember,
Fire
we are doing 60 minutes though. However, they're definitely not getting this 3rd game done here unless we just have somebody donk the other one, which isn't really in the method of Evan's deck right there, but it could be for Meg.
Yeah, and this is one of those times too, like if you were in a regional, you definitely can't beat Evan and take a gentleman's agreement, because the time is so low that the odds of him getting the knockout before Meg just doesn't, you know, have likelihood. I mean, best case for Evan is Meg starts a Jirachi and 6 energy cards, and Evan just turn to Mysterious Noises for the knockout.
So Evan, you said you're going to go first?
My starting hand was 4 energy via ReshiZek and
I
energy
still had
switch.
Marie. I should probably kept playing.
That's both of these games though so far, I haven't really seen Evan take advantage of the Mareep Sleeping Forest combo. In theory, which sounds really, really good. However, it's when you have so many tools at your disposal here, you kind of got to start thinning out which ones are really good to have and which ones are just filler.
Yeah.
Which, us knowing both these players very well, they love to tech. I think that mulligan alone will even take us close to time.
I looked away. Did they both mulligan, or was it just one of them?
It's both.
Ah.
Which is surprising as many
I mean, Evan plays 22 Pokemon, 3, 4, 7, 9, 10, 14 basics. And Meg plays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 basics.
Surprising. Well, there's the Mareep for once. going to put a Pokemon that doesn't care if it's asleep or not.
Jirachi does like taking naps. Mareep just wants to help out.
Kind of miss the times where you couldn't use abilities under certain status conditions.
Yeah, that's a throwback to like the way beginning of the game.
Fluffy pillow, put you to sleep.
And there will be no turn one donk here, thanks to me.
And that is time for these players. They're in +3 turns. So Meg will be she's actually gonna be turn 1 because she did not draw the card
She did
before
not.
time was called. So there is no turn 0.
Well, there was. It was just Evan for a brief hot second.
I wasn't.
Yeah, the timer went while I was in there.
Yeah.
Sometime around the fluffy pillow. So really in this, Meg's going to be the only one who can do enough damage. But then if you're Evan, you just put yourself into a situation where I can't lose.
Yeah, Evan just has to bench like one more Pokemon. And we know that Meg's not playing the Ends Resolve, so she can't even hit like that big cross break to leave Evan at one Pokemon. So, I just don't know where it's going to go.
Yep, can't break anyone's heart. She does not have a random bird trio in there to bench snipe 110 all over the place.
Yeah, seeing the Sky Legends come down would have been hilarious. Have that one clutch water energy thrown in there.
This is the type of turn that Meg wanted in each of the first 2 games. So I really don't like seeing the stadium come down, though, if you don't have an energy to take advantage of it. When you know Evan plays the Slumbering Forest.
It kind of would have made sense if, like, she Pokecom to get, like, a Dedenne and was, going that route.
Yeah, she does have Dedenne in hand.
This is what happens when you only look up, like, every other minute.
Yeah. If you know you're playing the Dedenne, I think you do not.
I'm about to say there's
Stellar
not much you could do with just Dedenne or just one Stellar Wish there.
That Fire Flint's going to be nice here before that Stellar Wish as well, and allowing her to have enough energy in hand to draw out. But like I said, Evan's main concept right here is going to be don't lose, just get as many basics down as possible.
Yeah, once we see the 4th Pokemon come down, Meg has no way to win in her 2 turns. She doesn't really have one right now either, outside of like that Elgium disappearing and no.
I'd really like to see her get rid of that fire energy and the Jirachi with the Flint and just grab 4 fire energy out.
I don't know. If she gets rid of the Flint, plays the Flint, gets rid of the Jirachi, the Electric, and can go into a quick ball to get Coco, she's able to get the knockout on the Mareep.
That is true. She can.
Because it looked like she had a switch in her hand.
She does. She does have her second switch.
So, I mean, that's the only, that's why I'd get rid of the fire over the electric over the fire.
So good to Heat Factory before the Stellar Wish. Look at more cards that way.
See, there's that quick ball, so she can, make that Coco Prism play that I was talking about. I'm not sure really what else she would.
And if there is only one, she does have another lightning in hand too. So if there is only one, I believe that's the only one in there. She's gonna go with the energy switch. Maybe she knows something that we don't.
They say genius and insanity are only like 6 degrees of separation.
Science and insanity is just documenting it.
I mean, I guess that works, but I think
Yeah.
like the Coco play would have got netted 1 extra energy on the field, which, you know, guaranteed.
Because now you're putting yourself in a situation where you absolutely got to wield her onto 2.
Yeah, I lost. It's in.
So Evan just concedes.
You didn't have another one to put down?
No, I don't have time.
Oh.
I can't possibly win.
Well, yeah, we know
Yeah, but
that.
you can tie.
Yeah, we can
No,
tie.
I can't. She took a knockout.
No, it's
We weren't playing top
custom-
cut
We're not
rules,
playing
we're
top
just-
of cut rules.
Yeah.
Okay, then we would have went to time. 'Cause I,
Yeah, you went
Yeah.
with the time. We knew that.
Yeah,
We're,
I mean-
we're just talking it out.
Yeah. So,
That's the turn I like having.
Yep, and so we have
Jeez.
social media links in the description for our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. We're going to be putting out a few more videos, testing some of these sword and shield decks. So we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you guys, and come on back because we have more Sword and Shield deck concepts coming in the
'cause even 'cause you
in the
were
upcoming
talking
weeks.
about
So
knockout
much more
DP
coming
and
to you guys from N to 1-4 game. And
Area dose.
goodbye.